Hi there. Hello, everybody. Alrighty then. And welcome. It is 4:30. It is Wednesday. It is April something or other. I forget what day it is, but it is time for the hashtag Quarantine Cantina. I am Steve Petty, SP from Allied Beverage. I will be your manager of artistry and innovation today. We have a lot of fun stuff we're going to be doing this afternoon. We got a half-hour show for you. We're going to talk about the Zen of the Martini, the history of it, the story of it, all that good stuff. We're going to wave at Jared. All right, but first, before we start talking martinis here, here we go. Before we start talking martinis here, we're going to do a little salute to National Beer Day. Now, let's see here. We're waiting for Jared to connect. My good friend Jared, how are you, sir? I'm doing well, man. How are you? I miss you.
I'm good. Miss you too.
Oh, man. All right. Hold on. We're going to get to Jared in a second. We're going to be doing some fun with Haku Vodka and Roku gin, talking about martinis. But first, I know, yesterday was National Beer Day, okay? Forgive me, though. But because I don't sell beer, I got to do this today. I am going to give a big salute for National Beer Day to my best friend's job, his livelihood right here. Jared Roku, who works for Allagash Brewery. You know Jared out there if you live and work in New Jersey and you bartend in New Jersey. He is a beautiful, beautiful soul with hair that smells like coconut. And he happens to sell a utterly delicious, stellar product called Allagash White. Jared, you want to give us a quick, 30-second story of Allagash?
I can. Rob Ty started the company actually to their 25th anniversary this year. Started the company 25 years ago. Beer really didn't sell for the first 10 years until he won an award in Belgium, and people stopped thinking he was a crazy guy making beer because you got to think, 25 years ago, everyone was used to drinking Coors and Budweiser and all those guys, so they saw the color of Allagash White, which is an easy, beautiful, golden yellowish color, and they thought that something was actually wrong with it. So, 5.2% made with orange peel and coriander, absolutely delicious, and it is actually it was named the most valuable craft beer in the country for a bar or restaurant to have for the second year in a row this year.
Wow. That tells me that if you don't have Allagash on your taps, you need to get Allagash on your taps. I mean, eventually, let's be honest here. Well, Jared, thank you so much. And I don't sell beer, man. I'm going to make a cocktail with your awesome, delicious Allagash White beer. Oh, all right, here we go. Let's do this. All right, so this is a drink. When I first had Allagash, when Jared came to me and brought it to me, I thought of creamsicles. I thought of vanilla. I got orange. It was just lemon juice, simple syrup, and club soda. We're going to change up the sweetener. We're going to change up the juice. We're going to top it off with this delicious Allagash wit beer instead. And we're going to serve it in a pint glass because, let's face it, that's where you drink your beers, right? All right. Are you making cocktails, Jared?
I am drinking a beer right now. I'm having an Allagash River Trip.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to start off with a 1/4 ounce of freshly squeezed OJ. Yes, I did squeeze oranges today for that. And then we're going to go for 3/4 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. And then I like making my syrup. And we're going to do 3/4 ounce of our vanilla simple syrup. If you're hoping for these recipes, folks, I will be posting them tomorrow morning. So stay patient. Visit Jared the same day. It was probably one of the best overnight trips of my entire life. So, in honor of Philly here, we're going to do 1.5 ounces of our Bluecoat barrel finish. We're going to talk a little bit about this later on. And I'm going to get some ice. We'll shake this bad boy up. All right, because this is a cocktail, we're adding some more dilution on top of. We're going to do a quick shake. So this is half the amount of time you normally be shaking. We're going to take our ingredients, close that tin. Quick 3 seconds, 2 seconds. That's all you really need. And then we're going to take our Allagash. Now, you might notice with your Allagash, it's a little cloudy.
That's correct. That is the live yeast that you're drinking, the original probiotic.
Oh, very nice. I love to hear that. Okay. Now, I added it to my tin first because that's going to do some mixing for me. If I added the beer on top after I strain the cocktail, it's going to sit on top. It's not going to fully mix, and the first sip will not be like the last sip. And that's what we strive for when we make cocktails. We want consistency. We want to make sure that it's tasting true and full all the way through. Oh, that looks great. Now, garnish. Garnishes, guys. Got garnishes. We're going to do just a simple orange slice here, a little half moon. Pop the, just plant that on the side. He looks happy. He looks going to be there. And Jared, I'm going to raise a glass to you and to Allagash on National Beer Day. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you very much for having me, and miss you very much. Cheers.
You are the best, man. Give my best to your lovely wife and your daughter, okay?
I will see you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, Jared. Bye. You can hang on if you really want to, man. It's cool. Anyway, we are here for the Zen of the Martini here. I know some of you follow my feed, and you're going to be watching Dylan DeGroff at 5 o'clock. King Cocktail himself, the ultimate. He'll be on at 5 o'clock today. At King Cocktail, I believe is his Instagram handle. If you look at my feed, he's going to be on there. It's going to be tagged on there. So tune in after this and let me know what I did wrong. But today, we're talking about the Zen of the Martini, and we're talking specifically about Haku Vodka and Roku Gin. These are the clear spirits that are coming from the Beam Suntory family. Yes, the same people that bring you Jim Beam and Toki whiskey from Suntory. These are the same people who are giving you Haku Vodka and Roku Gin. Most people don't realize that Suntory actually made vodka and made gin a very, very long time ago. You're talking about early 1800s, mid 1800s. They started producing stuff, and it was just their particular recipes. These are all inspired by those recipes. All of these spirits here, there are a lot of work and a lot of patience and a lot of experience is found in each of them. To kind of get started here, first let's go with the Haku Vodka. This is a rice vodka. So they actually base it off of rice. Now, vodka, you can make it out of any particular grain, but this one is rice. Now, with that, it's going to have a little bit of a brilliance about it. It's going to have a brightness, it's going to have a earthy quality, and also a subtle sweetness. Inexpensive in the store. You're going to look about $25 here. They also filter it through bamboo charcoal. So we know the charcoal process, filtering through charcoal, getting all those congeners out, and really purifying the spirit. There's a lot of bamboo out in Japan, so they use that bamboo, turn into charcoal, filtration, boom, there's your Haku Vodka. Now we talk about the Roku Gin. Roku is actually a Japanese word for 6. 6 as in 6 botanicals. All of these botanicals are sourced only in Japan. There's, I think, 5 or 6 distillers on the team. They all come from 4th or 5th generation distillers. They put a lot of time and effort into this and really trying to capture the spirit and the feelings that are around Japan. A beautiful bottle. It has these nice ornate glass designs here. Also relatively inexpensive, around that $25 price tag in your local liquor stores. Roku Gin and Haku Vodka. So we're going to get a couple martinis with them today. We're going to get back to them. Let's talk about the martini. I love the martini. I love the martini so much because I'm a big James Bond fan. If you have watched the movies, that's awesome. I recommend picking up the book since you've got the time. Ian Fleming is a phenomenal crime mystery writer. He really kind of captures that whole internal mindset of James Bond. But there's one thing about Bond that I do not like, and it is how he ordered his martinis, the shaken martini. Now, back in his book in Casino Royale back in 1953, he ordered a best friend martini, which we're going to get to in a second here. What I really want to start off with is a classic gin martini. You want 3 ounces of vodka, shaken up, strained in a chilled glass. Olives or a twist is pretty much all you're going to ask, right? Maybe some olive juice, but you're going to ask for that yourself. When it comes to a gin martini, though, there's a conversation to be had. It's going to be stirred. There's going to be vermouth in there. There's going to be certain elegance and complexity about it. And we're going to talk about why we shake versus why we stir. To get going here, we're going to start with just a classic extra dry martini using the Roku Gin. We're going to be putting vermouth in here, folks. It's okay. We want our cocktails to be super, super, duper cold, folks. That's what we need to have. Now, this is a classic gin martini, so we're going to be stirring it. All right, so we want to have our mixing glass. If you don't have a glass, you can use a tin. That's quite all right. For our dry vermouth, because we have a Japanese gin, we're going to be using a Japanese element, which will be sake. Otherwise, you'll be using a dry vermouth, which I have a couple bottles back here. You can't see it. Now you can. We've got some Carpano Dry, Martini Rossi, Trincari, other aromatic compounds. Vermouth is just a fortified wine. All that is just wine that's been reinforced with extra alcohol and a little bit of sugar, and then 2.5 ounces of my Roku. Now, this is a very floral gin, very elegant. There is no juniper to this. It's very nice and balanced. If you're new to the gin world, this is where you want to be. It's beautiful. All right, we got that. We're going to add our ice now. Stir on. Okay. Get that back of the spoon. And we love stirring our cocktails here on the Quarantine Canteen. That chance to take a deep breath. See what's going on out there. Enjoy yourself. Just relax. Center yourself. Center your zen. Find your chi. All that good stuff here. We have that Roku Gin. It's going to be nice. It's going to be floral. It's going to be delicate. It's not going to be punching you in the face. It's very much a thought-provoking gin. Think about it. And we're going to stir here just to get that condensation mouthfeel. When you shake a cocktail, you're introducing more oxygen, you're introducing more dilution at a faster rate. Alrighty then, that is tasting on point. And now we're going to strain that into our martini glass. And you can kind of just see right through it. There's no extra aeration, there's no ice chips floating around there. Now, garnishes for a gin martini. Really, olive greenness to it, then I usually go to olives. So for this, I'm just going to take a nice fat lemon peel. And if you're used to working in the banquet areas and you pre-cut your lemon peels, I know the technique where you do that little roll and you cut out the slit. Those peels dry out so quickly. Just get yourself a little peeler here. They're not that expensive. It's like maybe $1. Keep it with you. That peel, that extra lemony, oily essence there is just going to add so much flavor to your drink. And right there, that is a classic gin martini with Roku gin and sake and sake. Cheers. Before that, all these spirits have a story. They have a unique personality about them that make them special, that make them different, that make them pop in a cocktail versus just on their own. And if you like a particular spirit, that's great. But if you like that spirit, try something else too. You might like something differently. And as we talk about gins today, we're going to talk about sweet vermouth, curacao, gum syrup, and bitters that evolved into gin and sweet vermouth equal parts right around the end of the 19th century. Then if you go even a little bit further there, around Prohibition time, you start getting to that 3-to-1 ratio. Prohibition ends, vodka comes into play. And a lot of that has to come down to what Prohibition did to the American palate. Prohibition destroyed our palates, folks. We stopped liking full-bodied flavors. Cocktails that were made pre-Prohibition had so many more layers of flavor. Complex malty notes, bitter notes, full-bodied flavor. After Prohibition, we didn't have bartenders here. We didn't have spiritual guides out there telling the consumers, telling the public how they should be drinking and why they should be drinking. It wasn't until, about maybe 20, 30 years ago where the cocktail renaissance came in and suddenly vermouth is not so terrible to put into a drink. Sherry is not so terrible to put into a drink. All right, let's go on here. We're going to make another martini here. This is going to be a twist on the Vesper. Okay, again, I love James Bond. I highly recommend pick up the book Casino Royale. And in the chapter before, Brett lights some pink champagne. Okay, he gets kicked out of the poker game if you've seen the movie in 2006, and he needed a cocktail. And typically he was just ordered classic gin martini, shaken with cracked ice cold, served straight up with a long lemon peel. Now we're going to twist that around a little bit. Bond loved to have a V martini glass. We're going to chill this bad boy up. We're going to call this drink the You Only Live Twice. Okay, for the Bond fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. Of course, but the original V martini glass was introduced in 1925 in Paris at an arts exposition. And really it didn't become popular until after World War II. And now, as you see today, that V martini glass is classic, and you need to have it if you have a bar. All right, we have our glass there. Since this is the Vesper, we are going to shake this drink. Now, when we start our cocktail, we were looking at our texture, how it's going to feel in the mouth. When it comes to shaking, we're looking to add extra dilution. We're also adding antioxidants. When you shake things, you actually break down compounds more, so you're releasing more antioxidants. You could make the argument that a shaken martini is actually better for you than a stirred martini. You let me know how that goes for you. So to get started here, instead of using Lillet, and back then cinchona bark note to it, so an extra bitterness quality. This Lillet you're going to find is going to be more on the floral side. It's not going to have those bitter notes. Now, I want that bitterness though. So I actually have this bottle called Caperatif. It is a quinquina from South Africa. These are from my friends at Broadbent here. Yvonne Gallo, told you what's going on. And we are going to do a ½ ounce of this. Alrighty then, pop them over there. Now, the Vesper is a cocktail that is made with vodka and gin. Okay, it's a little bit weird. Typically, you drink the vodka because you don't like the bitterness of the gin, or the other way around. When it comes to martinis, there's not a lot of ingredients going on, so balance is so key. If you don't have proper balance, it's not going to come together properly. The flavors aren't going to be there, so that's why I'm jiggering. If you don't have a fancy jigger at home, that's okay. You can use a tablespoon. A tablespoon equates to about a ½ ounce of liquid by volume. There we go, 2 ounces of that. Alrighty then, and now we are going to add ice and we're going to shake it up. Make sure that martini is nice and icy cold, because cold cocktails are happy cocktails. Not just the quarantine cantina, but wherever you choose to be invited. And if you are invited, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take my lemon peel side down. We're gonna go over the drink, kiss that. You're gonna see those oils express on the surface. And take that peel again, yellow side on the rim, go all the way around, go down, around, and then toss it in. I'm gonna take my 1 mint leaf. Okay, give it that good crack. We got a slap of the mint. You're gonna let him float in there. And right there is you only live twice. Cheers. Nice, bright. Great cocktail. All right, we're gonna do it again. What time we got? 4:47. We're moving it. We can do this, guys. I'm really so glad you came out here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing it. Shooting me your questions here. Darling, you have to come on and say hi. You have to come on and say the lovely Mrs. Fetty, folks. She's making her debut on the Quarantine Cantina. We love her. She's beautiful and super, super patient. She actually gave me a haircut today. You can't tell. I actually said it looked better when she did. I took the buzzer out, and well, here we are now. Anyway, Tuesdays, we have the hashtag spring cleaning cocktail. So people have been sending me pictures about their cocktails they've been making, drinks they've been doing, stuff in their pantry. Keep sending them to me. I'm going to post every Tuesday. If you can tag it hashtag spring cleaning cocktail and direct message me with it, I will repost it. I'm going to talk about you. Thank you so much for the people who have already been saying stuff. Tomorrow, special treat. We're gonna do a little brunch episode with my friends from Part 2 Tequila, Mr. Joe Gurkowski. We're gonna talk to him a little bit. I also have two of my close friends, Mr. Roger Aquino and Colin Dietz from Tapestry in Somerville. They're gonna do a little digital pop-in here in the Quarantine Cantina. We're making some drinks with Part 2 and just seeing how they're doing out there. And then Friday, I got a little salute to my friends over at Heaven Hill. We're gonna do some weekend highballs. It's the holiday weekend, no reason to be working yourself too much, so we're gonna have some fun there with some Deep Daddy Vodka, some Elijah Craig, and some Evan Williams. I'm so excited about what we've been doing here. Later in the month, we've got some Zoom sessions coming up with my friends from Campari, my friends from Redemption, my friends from Pernod, my friends from Beam too. A lot of stuff coming up down here, so stay tuning in on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. You guys are awesome, all right? Two more cocktails. One more cocktail. Okay. We're going to do the Regal Martini. Regal Martini is a technique, actually. It's called the Regal Shake. Leo Robachak, he developed it, or at least he talked about it the most, where he incorporates a peel of citrus into a shaken or a stirred cocktail to impart some additional oily flavors and some additional bitter flavors as well from the pen. So we're going to be kind of toying with that. Now we got our shaker tin. Let's crank this up. Martinis at the Fetty household. Now this is a coupe. Now most people think that the coupe was inspired by the left breast of Marie Antoinette. Well, that is a lie. Unfortunately, as cool as that story may be, it is not the truth. In fact, you believe what you want to believe. That's cool. I still love the Marie Antoinette story myself. So we're going to chill our martini glass here. And to start off for the Regal Martini, we're going to do 1 ounce of low level. Now, people have been questioning me as well. It's like what to do with their extra teas. They might have made too much tea. That's all right. I started infusing spirits with tea. I will take a couple tea bags, throw into 16 ounces of a spirit, let it sit for 20 minutes. Try to keep it at 20 minutes, no more. If you infuse it longer, it's going to get super bitter and you're going to just waste the spirit. So I actually infused the Roku gin with some white tea. And it was just Twinings white tea, nothing special. 1 tea bag for 20 minutes. That's about maybe 4 or 5 ounces of gin. And we're going to do 2 ounces of that white tea infused Roku. Beautiful. Now, we want to highlight this. We want to get those flavors pop. We want that citrus to come in there. We're going to go in there, just do 2 dashes of our Angostura orange bitters. If you don't have orange bitters, you can use grapefruit bitters. You can use lemon bitters. Any sort of citrus is going to work perfectly for this. Now, I said this is going to be a Regal Martini, so we have to add the peel. I'm going to go with a lime peel. Now, you usually don't see this going on. You usually don't see a peeled lime going into a drinker and going on a drink because of the malic acid that goes in there. Kind of gives it a weird flavor. You'd think lemon would work better, but lemon peel actually imparts this waxy kind of flavor to it, almost antiseptic flavor. Lime is actually going to provide some brightness. So limes and grapefruit peels and orange peels work beautifully for this technique here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a quick expression in the tin. I'm just going to toss it in. We're going to add some ice and shake it up. Ooh, I love that sound. Oh, all right, that lime peel. And we are going to just strain this. I know, Steve, it doesn't look clear. Vermouth, go for it. But don't be afraid to invest in vermouth. You know, really, the more you spend on it, the better it's going to taste. I know there are some bottles you see on the bottom shelf. I just need some dry vermouth. Fine, okay. No, spend the extra couple dollars. Vermouth is not that expensive. It's going to make a huge impact on your cocktails. It's like wine. Try different varieties. I work for a company that has a lot of different dry vermouths out there, and they all have different flavor profiles. And then when you mix them with different vodkas and different gins and different bitters, it's going to have a whole different experience there. So I invite you, again, take the time to experiment. Try those favorite cocktails you like so much, just a different way. Now, for a garnish on this one, I think I'm just gonna do a lime peel. Wow, we're breaking rules. We're breaking rules. There, and pop it up. Now, classic martini again. You don't have to use peels. You can use olives. You can get a little crazy. You can put a little dill in there if you have a little bit of salinity, like olive juice or like pickle brine. If you don't want to use olives, you can use cocktail onions. Make it a Gibson. Make your own cocktail onions. You can do a lot of different things with a martini. And right there, that is my Regal Martini. Cheers to all of you. Thanks for coming out. Weather's getting better. Loving it. And those are our martinis, and that was our beer cocktail. I'm going to be posting these recipes later on, so you'll have them on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube. They'll be getting some videos as well. To kind of close this out here, we're going to talk about some more gins, because I call this hashtag gin it to win it. I love gin. And a lot of people don't like gin because they had a bad experience with it. I remember my first experience with gin was a dusty plastic liter in a warm cabinet in the back of my grandfather's house. It was not pretty. It was not fun. It wasn't until I jumped into bartending and really started studying spirits that I understood gin. And it's so much more than just a pine tree in a bottle. Now, that's what most of you think is, though. That's a London dry style. London dry style. These are like your Beefeater gin. There must be a notion of juniper berries in the mix. There are a lot of different ways you can infuse your gins and impart flavor in your gins. Some people do it by a hanging basket. Some people distill different botanicals and then blend them together. Some people use a combination of all that. Again, there are so many different gins out there and different vodkas. They all have different Tanquerays, your Bombays. Now, if you want to go something a little bit different there, still in that dry style, I'll look back there. There we go. There's Instagram. You want to go still in that dry style? I'm going to recommend the Bluecoat gin from Philadelphia. This is the first American dry gin. So there still is that juniper note. But let's go with the classic here, the Hendricks gin. From Scotland, they add cucumbers and rose petals. There's actually very little juniper that's added to this mash. So it actually has a more of a floral and gentle garden kind of nose to it. This is one of those gins that got people drinking gin again. All right, go down the line here. Predominantly, there are notes of caraway and cilantro that really add brightness to this. Again, more gins you try, the more flavors you're going to understand. Now let's see, you like things a little bit more fruity, a little bit more bright. Tanqueray 10, it's got that nice grapefruit zest to it. Maybe you want that whiskey feeling. Well, then I'm going to put you into a Bluecoat barrel finish gin, where they will throw their American dry gin into a whiskey barrel for 6 to 9 months, and it just adds an extra malty flavor, another layer of flavor. Young Mr. Flanagan is sorry, that's for my friend Dale DeGraw. The point is that there are a lot of different gins out there, and if you say you don't like gin but you like flavored vodka, well, guess what? You are lying to yourself. Okay, you like gin, you just don't know it. Keep following me. Check me out on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. I'm going to keep posting cocktails and recipes. If you've got questions, I want them. Send them to me. I want to know. I want to help you out. I'm Steve Fetty from Allied Beverage. Thank you so much for coming out to the hashtag Quarantine Cantina. Thank you to Jared Roku from Allagash for coming out and jumping on National Beer Day. To my friends at Beam, at Haku Vodka, on at Roku Gin, at Comparative, at Bluecoat. I'm Steve Fetty. This is the Quarantine Cantina. I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.